Do I look okay? I know I need a haircut. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about our 5 things that are different between American Baptists and Ukrainian Baptists. This is not a knock on either one. This is just some interesting things that I have discovered from being a missionary here in Ukraine. I've actually never consistently gone to an SBC or any other kind of Baptist church in America, so a lot of these things are hearsay and stuff that I found on the internet. I've been going to Calvary chapels since I was about 16 years old, and before that we always went to non-denominational churches. A little bit of my background. I lived in Texas first, then North Carolina, then moved back to Texas, then moved to California, then moved to Indiana, then Missouri, and then Indiana. So we went to all different kinds of churches. So here are 5 things that make Ukrainian Baptists and American Baptists different. Number 1 is where they come from. American Baptists have, in general, a British heritage, like Spurgeon and those kind of guys. Where the Ukrainian Baptists came from, it's from like the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Germany, that part of the Reformation, John Huss. So if you trace back the Ukrainian Baptist movement, it actually is before Luther when it started. So the second thing is, and this goes along with that heritage, is that Ukrainian Baptists in general are Armenians. Now what's very interesting about this is that I talked to the modern Baptists of today because there are traditional Baptists and there are what some people might call progressive Baptists or modern Baptists here in Ukraine. Traditional Baptists are quite often Armenian, but the modern Baptists are very close to what Calvary Chapel believes. And what Calvary Chapel believes is it's kind of this hybrid between Calvinism and Armenianism. And the idea is that you're secure in your salvation, but you also make the choice to believe in Jesus. But like I said, that's the modern Baptist, that's not the traditional Baptist. The traditional Baptists are a lot more like, if you would see a parallel in the United States, they're a lot more like Mennonites come to mind, actually. Here's another difference between United States Baptists and Ukrainian Baptists, is what they wear. At least from the Baptists that I know, United States Baptists are, casual. You can come kind of business casual to church. Ukrainian Baptists, they, in general, not the modern Baptists, but the more traditional Baptists, you have to wear a tie, a suit is expected. For women, skirt is required, headscarf, that kind of thing. An interesting thing that goes along those lines is the last time that I went to a traditional Baptist church and was there on a Sunday, my friend and I that were visiting there, we accidentally sat on the women's side of the church. The men sat on the left side, the women sat on the right side, and because the pews on the right side were closer to the entrance where we went in, we sat on the wrong side of the church. The next difference that is really interesting is order of service. A traditional Baptist church here in Ukraine normally has 2, 3, and sometimes even 4 sermons in a row. And the service can be really long. The sermons can be anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes long. That's an interesting thing to get used to. This elder speak, and then this pastor speak, and then this pastor that's a guest speaker, he speaks, and then the normal teaching pastor can come up and he can say a couple words too. I think that comes out of the Soviet Union, where it was expected that you could get arrested on the way to church, and so a bunch of people would prepare messages so that you would always guaranteed have a sermon that Sunday. It can be very interesting to watch, especially when people from our church, which is, like I said, it's a more modern Baptist church, our church members going and visiting to other churches, and they tell us, whoa, this is weird. Like Ukrainians tell us that this is weird, man. They all wear headscarves, and there's like 3 sermons, and they're all 30 minutes long, which we normally have one sermon, which is about 45 minutes long to an hour, and it's very structured. And that's the last difference that I would want to talk about, is the style of sermon. Normally, at least in my experience, Baptist churches in America have sermon series. They have different things that they talk about through the year. They can have like themed sermons and stuff like that. While in Ukraine, what normally happens is this pastor will speak on this thing that he studied this week, and then this elder will speak about this thing that he studied this week, and then this church member will speak about this thing that he studied this week, and on and on and on and on. It's almost like a buffet. And the idea is that, this person could be going through this thing today, and this person could be going through an entirely different thing. So there's like a sermon for everybody on Sunday. So I hope none of that sounded negative. Like I said, I'm not trying to knock anybody. I'm not trying to knock the American Baptists. I'm not trying to knock the Ukrainian Baptists. And like I said, as far as structure and teaching in our church, you can watch this video right here about how my pastor and I planned 52 sermons for all of 2018. And we are going through that sermon series right now. It's called Навіщо. It's like, why in the world would you want to do that? All in one word. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to SCLS, share, comment, like, and subscribe. God bless you guys.